a quote from Duke Ellington, who says, "By and large, jazz is like the kind of man you wouldn't want your daughter to associate with."
Well, that's true, too. It deals with matters of romance. It deals with sexual things.
There is a certain seductive nature to the music.
Man, if you don't have that, your music is not worth listening to. Yeah, you have to have that edge. You have to have that sexuality, that sensuality. You have to have that primitive feeling. And the more primitive you have, the more refined your concept is, the more primitive you have to be.
Practically from childhood, he's worked back and forth between jazz and classical music. His latest composition, the Swing Symphony, combines the two. The Lincoln Center Band and the Berlin Philharmonic played the premiere, a survey of how American jazz evolved, with echoes of Ellington, Charlie Parker, and other jazz greats. Does it sadden you that, for the most part, young people may not even know who you're talking about when you say Charlie Parker or Duke Ellington?
It saddens me that people my age may not know that. And it is a comment on the failure of our education system to deal with cultural education, not just Duke Ellington, Walt Whitman. The list goes on and on. So it saddens me for us as a nation, because we have such a rich cultural heritage, and we would be so much the better for it, and we would make such better decisions if we understood what brings us together.
Jazz at Lincoln Center does its part to keep the heritage alive, bringing high school bands to New York for classes with the pros, and for a chance to strut their stuff beneath the sophisticated eye of Ellington himself. But these are the lucky ones. Across most of the country, cultural programs in the schools range from spotty to non-existent.
The arts are our collective human heritage. You're a better person if you know what Shakespeare was talking about, if you know what Beethoven struggled with, if you know about Matisse, if you know what Louis Armstrong actually is saying through his horn, you're better. Because it's just like you get to speak with the wisest people who ever lived.
Havana itself has become an exquisite corpse, a gorgeous city in ruins, from neglect, poverty, the cruel salt air. The capital of an island too broke, too distracted by shifting priorities and political jockeying to do much about it. Still, the country is much more than yet another graveyard of the failed socialist experiment. The Cuban psyche is so deeply rooted in music that, in a way, politics become irrelevant. At the National School of Music, Marcellus and the kids were all in the same groove. This new generation, their political freedom may be on hold, but musical freedom is still a wondrous thing. You talked about how music transcends politics. Do you see that in Cuba, that the music has some, I don't know, liberating effect or what?
I see that about music and the arts everywhere, because we create community and we speak to the human soul.
It's always dangerous to draw sweeping conclusions from events like this. Suffice it to say that with the Jazz at Lincoln Center band in town for 5 nights, Cuba and the United States were speaking the same language.